He grabbed a hold of me before I even knew what was going on.
He took a sledgehammer to his thumb just so he could ensure that he would get Percocet from the ER.
Taking 10 Percocets and throwing them in a cup of hot chocolate in the morning first thing to help them dissolve quicker.
Pouring boiling water on their hands so that they would be sure to get some narcotics from the ER.
Opiates are a class of drug that is designed as a narcotic analgesic, which is simply a relatively strong pain reliever.
Legally, they're prescribed them for maybe a car accident or surgery or some sort of pain. It leads to an addiction where their body just requires more.
Opiate use has actually been around since way 3000 BC, maybe even beyond that, when the Asian countries used opium from the poppy seed. And now we're seeing a lot more prescription drug abuse, OxyContin, Vicodin, where instead of using them in their normal way that they would use them, now they're crushing them up and snorting them or melting them down and injecting them into their arms.
My addiction led me to do things that were completely out of character for me. I've stolen from family, friends, cheated, lied. The lies are incredible. You just become, every time I was speaking, I was lying. Believe me, I thought, that I had everybody fooled. It cost me a lot of relationships. It cost me trust with everyone. I still don't have trust back from everyone.
Late for work a lot because I needed to find the drugs. Made it very difficult to get along with family members that all constantly looked down on me for being a drug addict. It's created a lot of conflict between my wife and myself. Well, it just made it hard to have any kind of a relationship at all, because all I could constantly think about was the drugs.
It cost me years I had a son at the time. Now I have 2 kids, but at the time I just had my son. And he'll talk about things that I don't even remember. Things that we did or things that he did, and I don't even remember.
They foreclosed on our house. I didn't have a job. My wife was going to leave me.
I was scared to reach out for help. I didn't really want to admit how bad it was.
I was just in a big hole at the time. In other words, depression was real bad. I just decided I couldn't live like that anymore, and then didn't want to lose my wife. So I decided that it was time that I do something.
What finally led me to get help was, I think it was just, I was so sick of being so sick. It just, something just finally broke for me, and I had to go to Quest. I could not live like this any longer.
Because we know there's recognizable brain changes in opiate-dependent people, when they stop using, they go into physical withdrawal. So the safest way for somebody to go through that is a medical detox at the local crisis center.
The detox process is that someone actually would call our crisis line. Detox was indicated for that client, then they would call the detox nurse up on the unit, who would also come down and see the client, gather some medical information, get their vital signs, watch them for any symptoms of opiate withdrawal, such as runny nose, watery eyes, skin crawling feeling, hot and cold chills, sweats, diarrhea, nausea, body aches, muscle aches. And once some of those symptoms begin, then we would call the doctor and they would be indicated for our opiate detox protocol.
Withdrawal is usually feeling pretty jittery, couldn't relax. A lot of times you could feel sick as though you had the flu, feeling all run down, and you just had no motivation at all.
There's a protocol of 3 medications that opiate addicts would be prescribed. Those would help with several different issues in withdrawal. One would be a tranquilizer that would help them remain calm, help with the anxiety, restlessness, irritability, agitation that come with withdrawal. Another would be something to replace the opiate in their opiate receptors in the brain and be able to taper them down off that so that they can gradually come off of opiates rather than a sudden stop.
If I couldn't get what I was looking for that day, I would be sick all day. You start withdrawing, it feels like immediately. Hot, cold, sweating, stomach pains, just pretty much everything. My legs would shake. And mentally, it's almost like a breakdown. Mentally, you are completely lost without your drugs, completely lost.
The other benefit of getting help, besides minimizing the symptoms and getting them through the worst of it, is also that once they come to detox, we can help them understand that they have a disease, introduce them to the concept that they don't need to do this all by themselves, that there's support and help available. Hopefully encourage some follow-up when they get out of detox, so that several things are in place when they've completed their detox.
Our community is pretty fortunate because in Stark County we have a very collaborative community. So the Mental Health Recovery Services Board of Stark County receives some money from the Ohio Department of Alcohol and Drug Services to form an opiate task force. And on that opiate task force are representatives from the coroner's office, law enforcement, courts, treatment centers, community partners, and things like that. So again, just trying to raise awareness and set some goals and standards for our community.
I'm sure the treatment providers that are in this room tonight would say that there's been an excess in the number of people seeking treatment for opiate dependency. I think those people who are educators would readily admit that within the school system, we're seeing things that we have never seen before.
I speak with high school kids all the time, and as you see, I'm emotional. They see that too. I don't tell them it's my son. I tell them somebody that I know. I get their attention. Kids are indestructible. They can smoke marijuana, and they know marijuana is not going to kill them. They drink. I know that. There's kids suspended. But when it comes to this, you know, we have to let them know. It's as a parole officer told me, marijuana grabs you by the hand. Opiates grab you by the throat, and it doesn't let you go.
We have 294 active clients in treatment. Guess how many people came to family education this Tuesday? 1. That's disappointing to me, and we're going to try and do something about that.
The Mental Health Recovery Services Board and Quest Recovery Services have taken the charge of going out and once a month doing town hall meetings in a variety of different spots within our county. We've had one in Massillon, Alliance, and Canton so far, and next month we have one scheduled in Perry to just kind of raise awareness and ask questions.
And the changes are incredible. I have 2 jobs right now, part-time jobs. I haven't missed any work. That's amazing.
Started coming out of my depression as time went by. Things just started feeling right. I started feeling normal again.
I'm working. I take care of my kids. I have energy to do things. I can actually get up, and I get up at 5:45 every morning. You know, I feel good. The program it's changed my world. And I think it's changed the world of the people around me because they don't have to see me the way that I was.
I would say, first of all, if you are a family member and you are watching your son or your daughter or your family member struggle with this, recognize that it's not as easy as just saying, why can't you just quit? I think that recognizing where your treatment centers are within your community would be key to somebody getting help. I would ask you to recognize that there needs to be a sense of urgency of getting help because as we've seen in one of the videos that we show at our town hall meeting, a family's son was just going to take one more ride before he went to treatment on Monday, and unfortunately that one more ride ended up in his death.
If you're watching this, you know that, you know, you're tired of this life. You just do it. Just go into treatment. It's not easy, but it's also not easy out there every day, you know, and I'm telling you, it would be worth it. It will change your life in ways that you never knew. And if you're using, you know, you're sick of it, you know, you're tired of it, go to Quest, go to any recovery, go to any treatment, because it will change your world. And you, trust me, it's easier than what you're doing now.